Hello everyone. Today I'm here to share with you our fairy house project. My niece and I had a lot of fun making these houses from a pattern by Laura Dennison of Following the Paper Trail. It's her summer fairy house pattern. You can see that you can easily customize this house to have whatever feel and look you would like to have simply by choosing different paint colors and different paper collections. The one in the center that my niece made, she wanted hers to truly reflect summer, so she used yellow paint and a brighter paper collection. In the subsequent parts of this video, I'm going to show you some close-ups of the houses. We'll look at the lighting, the fairies that you can see in the windows, the door, the front door that opens, and then as the grand finale, we will peek inside of the yellow fairy house and see all the cool furnishings my niece designed for the fairies to have. I hope you enjoy seeing this video, and I encourage you to make your own fairy house. There's a link to the pattern that Laura Dennison made in the comments below or on my blog. So here we are to see some of the details of the lighting and the door and the fairies that we added to all three of the fairy houses. In this front window here, I think you can see the flickering of one LED tea light. There's actually two in there. I'm going to turn this little so you can see the flame of the other one in that corner. So we added those in there so that I think you can barely make out the image of a little fairy on the back wall. And in order to do that, we had to have an access panel in that back wall, and I'll show you that in a minute when we get to the back side how we got there. The other thing we did on the front here was to make it so this door could open and shut. It's a simple modification. There's a couple little strips of Tyvek that are acting as hinges, and now the door opens to show an image of a fairy on the inside. And a magnet that's hidden behind the paper, you can hear the click of that, holds the door shut there. Probably the biggest change we made, and I'll see if I can show you the fairy, there you can get a kind of a glimpse of her in the tower, was to add lighting to the tower. My niece said, wouldn't it be cool if we could have some lights in the tower? So it took a little bit of thinking, but not too much to figure out how to do that so that you could have access to turn the lights on and off. And so let me show you how that was accomplished. And the other thing I'll show you that is how you're able to see the fairy from all three windows. You can't see it very well in this lighting, but if you're looking in, she's very visible from all three windows. So the first thing was that the roof of the tower is removable. So this was, instead of joining the tower to the roof, to the tower, we just left that as a separate piece. Mostly the leaves camouflage that join. Of course you can see it if you come up a little bit close, but then that makes this roof a separate piece so that you can get in there to access the candles, and I'll show you how they are. We just added a platform down inside of there. We experimented with the height and then added those candles, and it was just the right size, luckily, for the two candles to fit. Otherwise you could put one candle, and they're on the diagonal like that because of the way the fairy image is done. And that is that it is on a piece of transparency that, sorry, is on an angle on into two pieces of chipboard that were just added to the tower, so that this bottom edge will slide right in between those two candles when the roof goes on, and it just fits perfectly in there. And it was sized just to fit exactly in there so that there wouldn't be any wobble. So looking around on the back, I'll show you that access door for the candles that are in the front room. So the roof opens up so that you could put a mini album or something in here, and you will see in a minute what my niece did with her house. But here you can see the access door, and it's just held in place with a magnet, and a piece of Tyvek acts as the hinge, and it flips down, and you can see you can access the candles there. So those are some of the modifications and details that we added to the fairy house, and in the next section you'll see how my niece put furnishings into the back of hers. So here we are on the inside of the yellow fairy house, where my niece has added all sorts of little furnishings to make the fairies feel at home. On this side of the room, there's a bed that's made out of a tiny mince tin and covered with fabric, and a pillow. Then there's a little wooden cube that is acting as the nightstand with a couple of the extra books on top of it. The headboard is made out of a chipboard scroll. The lamp is a skewer that's into a little wood wheel, and then a little bowl is upside down as the top, and she covered that with stickles to give it a look kind of like a Tiffany lamp shade. It looks really pretty when it's glowing in the light. It's hard to see that glow in this photo. Next to that is a bookshelf, which was made out of the inside of a matchbox, and she added chipboard shelves and then cut all sorts of little pieces of chipboard, which she painstakingly colored with Copics to look like books. Next to that is a sink. I don't know if I can get in close enough so you can see the faucet there. I think you can kind of see it there. The sink is made out of another one of the little wooden bowls, and it's put into a round canopy holder, and then the faucet is made out of a piece of bent wire. On the wall there you can see one of a few of decorative postage stamps that Sarah thought were just the right size for artwork in the house. Now as we move to the left side of the house, you can see where the fairies get to eat. There's a little dining room table set up there. The table is made out of the outside of the matchbox, and then the plates are just simple circles cut out of cardstock that were decorated with Copic markers. The centerpiece is another one of the wooden bowls with what used to be edible pearls. Now they're not edible anymore because they were colored with Copics to look like fruit. And 4 little stools made out of wooden buttons. Now you can see on the back wall here's the access door that allows access to the candles that I showed you in the previous video in this one. So that's the inside furnishings of this lucky fairy's house.